I think they were talking to me, not you.
Go ahead.
Like, start over.
Yeah.
But my face is in there.
You're not. Here's just your hands.
All right, so you reflect your gracilis and sartorius. Those are superficial ones. Under the sartorius, you have this little muscle with a lot of fascia that connects to the knee. That's the tensor fascia latae. Then you have your vastus medialis and your vastus lateralis with the rectus femoris in between them. You reflect the rectus femoris to find the vastus intermedius underneath it. Then you have this group of muscles under the gracilis. You have the semitendinous, the semimembranous, the abductor femoris. Mine is a little bit damaged here, but this is the problem with all the cats this year. They were ripped. So you have the abductor femoris, the abductor longus, and the little very dark one up here that is on my cat sticking up out you is the pectineus. All right. I would hope that your cats are a little bit nicer. I told you not to spread the legs out, so that they wouldn't rip like that. We roll the cat over. We find this large muscle on the backside. That is the bicep femoris. You can go down into the calf area. You have the gastrocnemius and the soleus underneath it. On the front, this what you would call your shin splint muscle is the tibialis anterior. All right.
And those are two other questions.
Do we want to pause video?
What's your question?
I mean, it's kind of relevant, but all right. So, can I touch it?
Yeah.
You know how the adductor femoris and it's on this side in this view, like medial?
Yes.
Here? Are you gonna ask us if it's
No.
on this side
No.
and flip it? Okay.
Even though you can see the backside
Right,
of them,
that's
no.
why I was
You
wondering.
I'll only ever ask you this way.
Okay.
And that's really sloppy, so I hope you do a better job or find a cat that's not ripped. But my cat's even ripped on this side, but I might try to get into it if I have some time. Anyway, all right, let's kind of put him back the way it goes. All right. Then you follow your bicep femoris up. You have the muscle that's not on the list, which is the claudiofemoralis. Then you have this smaller muscle here. This is the the gluteus maximus, and this larger triangle one is the gluteus medius. I know it's out of order, but I'm going to go to the abdomen next. Go to the last page of your list. I'm going to go to the abdomen just because we're flowing up the body here. All right. External, remember obliques mean diagonal, so these fibers running diagonally are the external. You peel them back, very thin layers, be careful, and you can see this, which I really haven't peeled any of it back. These are running that way, that's the internal obliques. Your rectus abdominis are the ones, rectus means parallel. So these are the rectus abdominis, and these fibers under it all that are running this way are the transverse abdominis. All right, then moving on to the back here, which is some page there. All right, it's the second page. We have the latimus dorsi, which is this big flap of muscle here. All right, then you have to kind of get into what you would call the armpit and try to get the chest muscles off. All right, under the armpit, you have their rib muscles. You call them, they're actually a little bit above the rib. They're the serratus ventralis, right? Remember, ventralis means anterior or belly, and serrated like a knife, so they look like a comb. They're here on the ribs. In this armpit also, and I have pretty much detached my whole one here by accident. There's this muscle that kind of runs like this, connects the rib cage to the armpit. That's the teres major. That's on your list there. It's under the deep muscles of the shoulder and back. Teres major. All right. I guess while we're here, let's just do it. You're right. The chest muscles are very hard. So on a cat, there are actually like 4 different levels of pectoralis muscles. We are going to try to make it analogous to humans. So we're going to do the pec major here, which is the one that comes off onto the shoulder, right? And if any of you have ever been to the gym and any of you have done a bench press of any sort, it hurts out you know, when you're sore the next day, it hurts out onto the shoulder. That's this muscle here, the pectoralis major. And then under it, there's a break here if you look carefully, and down the chest, this is the pectoralis minor. On a human, that pectoralis minor is under, and it goes out onto the shoulder even more. And you can see the pectoralis minor will run up here under this up to the shoulder. The linea albea is this line right down the center. The sternomastoid / clediomastoid. So on a cat, it's right here. This is the clediomastoid, right? It goes from the sternum. Okay, on a cat, this is the sternocleidomastoid all in one shot, because it goes from the mastoid process up here to the sternum. It doesn't go out to the clavicle. In a human, this would be more of like this would branch and also go out to the end of the clavicle, so it would be the sternocleidomastoid. But it's that neck muscle for our purposes and to be homologous with the humans. This flap above the pectoralis major is the deltoid. You can see right here that there's a separation of it, which would be the spino and acromodeltoid that is laid out on your list, but we can just do deltoid all as one, again, to keep it homologous with humans. You don't have to do the claviobrachialis. You can just cross that off the list. All right. Let's flip it over. All right. So now, so you're up in the back. Come on, Sartorius. Spread out. All right. Up in the back. All right. You have to really loosen this up. This is why we start with the leg, because this is a bit harder. This large flap of muscle on each side of the back, this is the trapezius, right? It's roughly a triangle shape or a trapezoid shape. It technically has three parts: the spinotrapezius that runs down this way, the clavotrapezius that goes along the neck, and the acromotrapezius that goes out by the acromial, but we're just calling it trapezius, all right? Under that, you have your your scapula, and just like the fossas on the bone, right, there's a spine here which you can hear if you clear it off, right? That's the spine. So this is the supraspinatus above the spine, the infraspinatus below the spine, and subscapularis. Now watch the fingers, right? Subscapularis, because I'm touching the bottom of the scapula. Flip my fingers over, I'm touching the back. Those are the rhomboids, which is on the list, just like the last thing on the list. All right. Now we're going to move out to the arm, right? You have the bicep brachii is the big one. The brachialis is the little one. That's just a nice, easy way to remember it. And then there's the brachoradialis, right? Which starts up here at the brachii area, and then goes down over the radius, the brachoradialis. It's the only forearm muscle you need to know. And the tricep is all this on the back. You don't need to know the different heads, and that's the tricep. If you really want to try to separate them out, the long one's the longest one, the lateral one's the lateral one, and the medial one's the medial one, right? That should be the easiest thing, but those are the triceps. That is the cat. So get yours dissected, get yours identified. It would be infinitely better if you dissected your own cat and used your own cat for the practice.